Hello guys, my name is Raj and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I'm back again with a new video on complete placement preparation series, and today we will discuss this particular problem which is known as Pascal's Triangle. So if you are a mathematics savvy person, then you might have heard about this topic. So we have to code this particular thing. So let me explain this problem. This is an easy category problem. So it's not too much hard to understand this. So the task is we will have to construct a triangle like this based on the number of rows as an input. So if I say I give an input as 2, so which is not right, I need 2 rows of input, then I will get this particular segment of which is 1, 1 and 1. So I have and if I input as 5 number of rows, then I will get this particular whole structure of 5 rows having a triangle shape and this particular value. So if we see carefully, this is a very good GIF that is provided by Leetcode Platform. So initially we'll have 1, 1 and 1 as the base case. So base case is nothing but a case or a test case where we know that this is going to be the output, no matter how many times we enter that particular thing. So if I base case is basically nothing but it is the end point or the starting point of any solution. So if I see this particular thing, if I give 1 as an input, I will always get 1 as an output. Similarly, if I give 2 as an input, I will get these two things as an output. So these are hard coded. So these are not like coded, like these are not logical things. These are hard coded. So these are used as a building block to build the further program or the further output or the further test cases. So if I see, if I need to get the 5th row, for that I need to have the 4th row. Similarly, for the 4th row, I need to have the 3rd row, and then 2 and 1. So in this direction, it is clearly visible that I have to start from this first row and then the second row. If I have, let's say, if I give 10,000 as an input, for example, I need 10,000 rows of this particular Pascal triangle. Then I have to start from 1. If I input 500, then also I have to start from 1. So that's why the first row and second row are termed as a base case, because from there we have to start the generation of the triangle, right? So if you see carefully, in this particular row, in the 3rd row, I have 1 to 1. So how this 4th row is building? I will take the 1 as it is. I will take 1 and 2 and I will sum them up. I will have 3. I will shift 1 and shift 1 position. I have 2 and 1. I will add them up and I will have 3, and then I will keep 1 at the end. Similarly, in the 5th row, I have 1, 3, 3, 1. So I will keep 1 as it is. I have 1 plus 3, which is 4. 3 plus 3, which is 6. 3 plus 1, which is 4. And 1. So if you can see this, the outside of the outer portion of the triangle is 1. Similarly, then it will gradually increase in a very cooperative manner, and then we have the highest value at the center. So how to build this particular thing? So since we know the base cases, we can directly write if number of rows, if the input is 1 or 2, then we can simply return whatever the base case is. So I can check if number of rows is 1, then return a single just wait a second. Yeah, so we have to give as a list of list as an output. So I will basically return 1 row, which is 1, and if you can see this is a list of list, because I will have the output which is this triangle in as a list. But if you carefully see, we have rows as well. So all these individual elements will also be a list. So I will return a list of list. Now let's go towards 2 as a number of input. So if I give 2 rows as input, then I will simply return the base case, second base case, which is 1, 1, 1. So if you see, this is nothing but the first 2 rows of this particular Pascal triangle. So this was the base case, right? So if you have 1 or 2 as an input, it will simply return from here, from this point only. But since the the input is constrained between 1 to like greater than 1 up to 30, right? So this is a very so since the input is restricted, we can simply avoid the negative part and the parts which are above 30. So we will never expect these values. So we will not code that particular thing. But in real time scenario, you have to code them as well. So you have to check if it is a negative value or it is a value which is beyond a certain range. So that you can do by yourself. Moving on towards the normal case where we have a value between 2 to 30. So what we'll do is we will simply take answer. So since it is greater than 2, I have to simply have this particular list as the initial start of the answer. I have to need to have this first two rows to in order to get the third row and the fourth row and then consecutively till the end of the input, right? So what I will do is I will simply, since I have the first two rows, I will start with for I in range 3 to a number of rows plus 1. Why plus 1? Because here we are not taking zero indexing, we are taking simple one indexed list. So I have to not take 1 plus, since let us say if you have to if the input is 5 rows, then you have the first two rows. Now you need third, fourth and fifth row. So if you see in this particular thing, this will go from 3, 4 and 5, right? Because it is range between 3 to 6. Okay, so now I will need to have a temporary row. For that I have to create a row, right? Now I have to create the third row. Since we need to have this one at this start, no matter what the previous row was. So I will simply take an empty list with a single value, which is 1. So I will start off with this. Now what I need is I need a previous state. I need the previous row which was generated to get this particular new row. So what I will do is I will take a variable which is named as p, which states the previous row. I will use the Python trick which is -1, which is it will give me the second last or the last row, not the second last but the last row of this particular answer. So I will get 1 1 at this particular variable. Now what I have to do is I have to simply iterate in the bunch of twos, in the bunch of two elements, and add them up and add to this temporary list. So I will use j, and since we are taking two elements at a time, I just have to go to the second last element, because if I take the last element also, then it will take beyond one value beyond that last element, which is an error. So what I will do is I will simply take length of p minus 1. So this will ensure that we only go up to the second last element, right? But because if we go to the second last element, it will automatically take the last element as well. Okay, now so what now I will simply append p of j, which is the first index, and p of j plus 1, which is the second index. So I am taking 0th and 1th, right? And then in the second iteration I will take 1 and 2, third and fourth. Similarly we will go to the second last and the last, right? So if I do this particular thing, then at the end I have to again add 1 to this particular list, because the starting and ending one is a compulsory thing, right? So I have to add again, at the end I have to add append 1. So this means that at this particular point of time I have the new row completely built and ready. So what I have to do, I have to just append it to the final answer, which is going to be returned, right? So I will append this, and this is it, and I will at the end I will return this particular answer. So this code looks good. So again I will explain what I have done in this code. I will first take the base cases for 1 and 2. If the input is 1, then I will return this. If the input is 2, then I will return this. If input is beyond 2, then I will simply add these two rows. Then from the third row to the end to the last row, I will iterate this particular thing, taking the previous row and generating the new row elements, and then appending it to the final answer, and then at the end I am returning it. So let's try to submit this and see if it is working fine. Yeah, so for input number 5 it is working fine. Let's check for 1 if it is working on the base case itself or not. Yeah, so it is working on the base case as well. Let's try to take the extreme input, which is 30. Let us see if this is working on this particular input as well. So whenever you are building a code, you have to try the extreme cases as well. So it is accepted on this particular code as well. So let's submit this particular thing and see how does it perform on submission. So it is giving 85% better than the online Python submissions and 60% in memory. So this code looks good. If you have any doubts, you can ask in the comment section. Also, you can post your comments on my social media and various platforms. So thank you guys. Keep liking, keep sharing, and keep commenting on this particular channel. And till then, this is Raj signing out.